Hey, all you minnows out there, or something. I don't know, I'm still trying to come up with a greeting, man. Give me a break. This video is a remaster of another video I made previously, Shark Bites. This series involves me reviewing multiple things in bite-sized segments. I am remastering it, however, due to some things I wasn't very proud of last time. So, I have redone some things. But the overall structure is similar. Hopefully you'll still enjoy it. I also want to apologize for any low-quality footage or scuff. My computer's really old, and a lot of the videos I used as footage that I didn't record myself, I got using a very crappy converter website, which I've since found a better website to use that doesn't make it trash quality, so... Also, my computer fans are very loud. Anyway, on to the bites. This is a game that was introduced to me by some friends sometime in 2023. And it's this really neat gardening game where you play as this little goober that we like to jokingly call Peter. And nothing bad happens at all. So, yeah. That was a lie. Bad things happen a lot. Welcome, ladies and gentle sharks, to Pumpkin Panic. Your goal in this game is to survive various folklore creatures while making money from your crops to expand your garden, get cosmetics, and eventually get all the parts for this boat down here to escape. It's kind of like classic FNAF or Doors, where you learn via trial and error. Each mechanic is introduced slowly as the game goes on. When I first started playing the game, it was really addictive. Like, seriously, once you get into the flow of things, it's so fun. And I was just unbelievably satisfied when I finally won. But I'm not going to reveal too much about the mechanics, because that's the whole point of the game. But I will show you what each creature looks like, and what me and my friends like to call them for fun. This skinwalker thing, we like to call it Mark.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier.
And then we have William.
Go that way for some What the hell? Purple guy!
And then these two goobers, Jeff and Jacob. And then this totally nice deer, Satan. As I stated previously, I'm not going to go too much into their mechanics, because you want to go into this game blind, trust me. Makes it way more fun, way more scary. Another thing to note is that since the first time I made this video, this game actually had an update. And the game was brought over to Steam. It has a nightmare mode. They gave the two clowns a redesign, though I think the old designs were better, low-key. And they also gave each creature official names, but I think our names are still funny, so I'm still going to use them. I am planning on covering the update in a second Shark Bites video that I hope to put out in October, because it'll be spooky and Halloween themed. Originally I was worried because I was having a glitch where the resolution was really low. But I managed to somehow fix it. It was really weird. It still says that it's set to a lower resolution, but it does not look like it, so I'll take it. I was really worried about that because it was going to affect the footage, but hey, it somehow, some way fixed it. Yeah, so yay! It won't look bad when I cover it, so. But yeah, stay tuned for that. So, if you know anything about me, you know I'm a pretty big Metroid guy.
Wait, he said something about Metroid.
Please take a look.
So when they frickin' shadow dropped this crap, let's just say I was pretty hyped. The graphics were probably the best I've ever seen on the first Switch, but they remained faithful. The control options, the region-locked content, it was so freaking cool. But I had to wait a little bit before I could play it, unfortunately. But that wait was so freaking worth it. Metroid Prime is a game that needs no introduction. If you haven't heard about how good this game is, then you're either living under a rock or, well, Animal Crossing New Horizons did sell more than the entire Metroid franchise, so I guess I can't even blame you if you haven't. Ugh. But what I can talk about is how this remaster did so much so right. It's gorgeous. It has multiple control options, including the classic GameCube and Wii controls, and it has the region-locked narration that has only ever been outside the US. The control options provide awesome ways for both newcomers and veterans to enjoy the game, and the region-locked narration being available here in the States is just freaking awesome. Like, I can't play without it now. I really enjoy it. They also didn't bother remixing the perfection that is the soundtrack. Like, I'm not entirely against remixed soundtracks, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, bro. Like, Metroid Prime has one of the best OSTs in the game, and all they did was just make it sound cleaner, which is all they needed to do. The thing is about this game is that they could have very easily gone the lazy upscaling route like they did with Skyward Sword HD and 3D All-Stars and almost every single other remaster they put out. But they went above and beyond, and it's only $40. Semi off topic, but despite how amazing Remastered looks, it's still kind of insane to me how well the original still holds up to this day. With Metroid Prime 4 Beyond on the horizon, this is a great time to try this game. You won't be missing anything story-wise for the series, as even though the Prime games are canon, they tell a side story separate from the main 2D games. And the best part is, you won't have to worry about your main way of playing the game being an unfaithful mess that ruins anything good the original had. Well, the lead up to this movie was an absolute roller coaster, to say the least. I went from being cautiously optimistic upon its announcement, thinking it would be bad when the cast was revealed, to being really hyped when the first trailer looked as good as it did. And then it came out, I went with my friends to go see it, and I really liked it. Is it an absolute masterpiece of filmmaking? No. But it was a fun ride, filled with references, new but faithful interpretations of the characters with a bit more depth to them, and just a bit more depth in general. Yeah, it's not super deep or story rich, but there's that slight bit of oomph to it that makes it feel more grand and epic. Kinda like with Super Mario Galaxy or with the Mario RPGs. Also, this is Illumination's best looking film to date, like, period. It's absolutely beautiful. The attention to detail in almost every aspect is crazy. The performances surprised me too, especially Chris Pratt as Mario and Jack Black as Bowser. I forgot it was Chris partway through, I'm gonna be so for real. And like, yeah, there are some parts where it does sound like him, but for the most part he puts on a bit of like this accent, and so, like, he still sounds like Mario. Like, not traditional sounding Mario, but, you know, Brooklyn Mario. Kind of Super Show-esque, though a little bit higher pitched. As for Jack Black, I absolutely love the man, but I haven't heard a lot of his other voices, at least not until this movie, so when I heard his voice for Bowser in that first trailer, I was freaking floored. Like, it sounded so freaking awesome. Bowser in general was just a really big highlight of the movie for me, because he's my favorite Mario character, and I just love pretty much everything they did with him. I like that he was kind of goofy, like in Bowser's Inside Story and the other RPGs, but like, he was also really intimidating, like in Super Mario Galaxy. Also, there's 3 little instances where you hear Bowser's original voice actor whenever Bowser like growls or roars, which is really cool.
A mustachioed human has arrived in the Mushroom Kingdom.
They probably just reuse clips from games and stuff, from like Galaxy or something, but it's a still really cool detail that I like. Also, his new theme was awesome. Speaking of the soundtrack, holy farting knockers, dude. I could make a whole freaking video alone on just the soundtrack. It's so dang good. I probably won't because of copyright though. But Brian Tyler was able to not only reference so much game music, but he was also able to make his own themes for the characters that fit the game music and also blend them together in certain places. I love all of his OG themes, but in particular his theme for Mario and Luigi, so frickin' catchy. It can be chill, it can be epic, it blends together really well with 1-1. Unfortunately, a lot of the uses of the theme and other themes were cut in favor of licensed music. I think licensed music can work if a movie calls for it, but I don't think this movie really called for it. There are specific examples of times where the music that was intended for the scene fit a lot better in my opinion, specifically the training sequence and the part where the Kong drives Mario, Toad, and Peach to where Cranky Kong is. Those are the two that I'm the most upset about, especially the segment with the Kong, because there's a specific shot at the end where they fall and then they glide back up because the cart popped the glider, and the music that was intended for the scene is timed perfectly with the glider popping, but Take On Me isn't because it just continues playing, and I think it makes the scene a lot less fun. I just want to clarify that I do like all of the licensed music they used. I just wish that the music that was intended could have been used instead. But overall, I still absolutely adore the soundtrack, and I'm really happy to see that certain video game movies are taking notes with their scores. Even Sonic Movie 3 had a better soundtrack than the first two. In conclusion, I love the movie. Could it have been better in some areas? Absolutely. If you want to see some of those ideas, then I'd recommend checking out Chari 5's rewrite. But despite that, I still absolutely love the movie as it is, and I'm really excited for what comes next. So, you've probably seen all the talk about this film, and though I don't agree with all the discourse surrounding it, the movie itself is amazing. I saw this movie on my birthday near the end of 2023 with some friends of mine, as the beginning of my birthday celebrations. We missed the first screening we planned to go to, so we went and got some food, and then we headed to a different screening. But unfortunately we missed the first 10 minutes because the line was so freaking long. So, I unfortunately missed the opening sequence with the Godzillasaurus, which makes me kinda sad because it's really freaking awesome, and it's also one of the most important moments of the film. But despite that, I was still able to follow along very well, and the movie still hit hard regardless. And I think that just speaks to how amazing it is. Now, before I continue with talking about the film itself, there is something I want to mention. I'm a pretty big fan of the MonsterVerse and the less serious interpretations of Godzilla, but I also really like the serious interpretations, like this film, Shin Godzilla, the original 1954 film. I think both versions have their place. I don't think the MonsterVerse is bad for not being like -1, or vice versa. Both can coexist, and even the director of -1 really likes the MonsterVerse, and he took some inspiration. So I feel the people saying it's bad for not being like -1 are being a bit goofy, to be so for real. But moving on to the actual film itself, it's haunting. The characters are really well written, and I cared for every single one of them. So many moments just hit me like a truck, especially when the main character is having PTSD attacks. One time, I had to comfort a friend going through a genuine panic attack, and it was one of the scariest moments of my life. And the way it's portrayed here is extremely accurate. It does not sugarcoat anything. I also love how the movie, near the beginning after the main character gets his new job, just kind of lures you into this false sense of security, with the montage and all, just before bombarding you with Goji's reappearance. Speaking of, the sequences out on the boat remind me a lot of Jaws, and I really hope that if we ever get a new Jaws film, specifically a prequel with Quint on the Indianapolis, take some inspiration from this. The way Goji's dorsals light up and pop out is really cool, very MonsterVerse-esque, which is most likely intentional. I also really like the scene where it shows the path Godzilla is on. It feels a lot like the opening credits to Godzilla 2014, which is my favorite film in the series personally. Godzilla himself looked amazing. It took quite a lot of inspiration from the Heisei design, but also from one of the director's previous films, which was a non-Godzilla movie, but he cameoed in it. Goji himself was just an absolute freaking menace, and he showed no mercy. Like, who hurt you, bro? Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed this morning? What the frick happened? The soundtrack was fantastic as well. Akira Ifukube's classic theme was used for Godzilla, and it remains amazing and iconic. The original score is amazing too, gives me chills, and it helps set the tone of the film perfectly. Sound design was amazing too. Godzilla's roars are taken from the 1954 original, but are souped up with additional sound design, and it's immaculate. I much prefer this over what Shin Godzilla did, where it just used the old roars in their compressed glory. Same with the old music. I love the overall theming of the movie. For those who don't know, the movie was seemingly teased as Godzilla 0, but then as a cool marketing push, they changed it to -1. And the reason for this is, the idea is that the bombings reduced Japan to 0, and Godzilla reduced them even further, hence the name -1. It's not only amazing marketing-wise, but it fits the theming of the film perfectly, especially since they were allowed to mention the bombings this time. The original 1954 film was an allegory for it since they weren't allowed to mention it. I just love how this film, very similarly to Shin Godzilla and the 1954 original before it, criticized the actions the government takes towards the situation. I also love how near the end of the film it becomes more hopeful. Instead of it being them laying their lives down, it instead becomes a fight for their future to live. Bit off topic, but something funny that happened when we saw it in theaters was me and my friend Sidian were sitting next to each other during the film, and the theater has these trays on the seats, and during the credits, he was drumming on it to the percussion of the Godzilla theme, and then I started tapping on mine as well in the same like 3-finger motion that I do when I play the main melody on the piano, because I can play the melody of the theme on the piano. Because it's like muscle memory. But it was really funny. It was a really funny moment. It was very silly. Anyway, overall, this movie is an absolute masterpiece and one of the best films in the entire franchise. Supposedly, they're making a sequel to this, and while it was kind of teased at the end of the film with him regenerating, I am a little skeptical, but Mr. Yamazaki is back on board for directing and writing in VFX, so it will probably still be good. But I guess time will tell. And that's a wrap. After procrastinating for so long, it's finally nice to get this remaster out the door. I'm really hoping to do more with YouTube. I've just been kind of getting hit hard by personal things lately. But, on the bright side, I recently moved out of my parents' place alongside my brother, and we live in an apartment together now. It's probably, so the audio probably sounds a little different because of that, but hopefully I can lock in on content. I want to quickly give a shout out to the YouTube channel Creative Planet Entertainment. They do a lot of content, but one standout is their amazing Sonic fan series called Search for the Lost, which recently recast both Jet the Hawk and Shadow the Hedgehog as yours truly. But I'm also helping out a bit with the next episode in some different ways. I encourage you to check out all their content though, not just the series. They also did this really fun video for May the 4th, where it's the twins from Star Wars Visions, but it's abridged, and I was the astromech droid. It was quite fun. I also want to thank the owner of the channel, Matt Artainer, for helping me with some inspirations and advice for my own channel, and for just being a great friend. So please check him out and support him. And I'd also like you to please support my amazing friend, Galaxy and the Void. She helped create the current design of my Shark Man here, and at some point we plan on giving him more expressions to work with. I'll have all relevant links and credits in the description, but without further ado, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. God bless.
Change the world. My final message.